If you are worried about raising your prices or that your prices are already too high and no one is ever going to buy from you, there's no one left out there. This video is for you. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dasha. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. I would love to hear from you in the comments, your biggest takeaways, your favorite frames. And hopefully this video is going to be helpful for you to create consistent income and attract the most soul-aligned, high-paying, high-quality clients in 2026 and beyond whenever you're watching this. So, first of all, I just want to talk about why it's really important to raise your prices, right? And charge an amount that feels good to you, that is an industry standard, and not just think, oh, no one's buying, and it's because my prices are too low. Yeah, and discounting. So I want to share an experiment that I did, and hopefully this supports you to raise your pricing. And then we're going to dive into why you might not be attracting these high paying buyers. Yeah, because some people might say, like, oh, no one's out there buying things, but let me tell you, they are. There is always a buyer for the right thing. Yeah, there's people buying Louis Vuitton, and there's people buying from Temu, right? So there is always the right buy. It depends on your positioning and your strategy. So I remember when I was preparing for my conscious sales course, I took on a lot of people at a discounted rate, one-on-one, to check out if the embodiment practices and the strategy that I'm going to be teaching in a course worked. Yeah. And I had a very different payment system compared to everyone else. So for 5 sessions, it was like per session, like, I don't know, let's say $50 per session. But then, oh no, even maybe like 35. No, 50, yeah, 35, for example, for 5 each session. Then for 10, it was like 45. And for 15, it was like 55. I don't remember the exact prices, but the people that paid the least actually had the worst results. And not because they had the shortest amount of session, but it was the way they showed up for the session. Half the people forgot about their session. It was so cheap that they did not value it at all. So your pricing actually has a perceived value. But I'm not just saying like raise your prices. You need to give slash sell slash offer a high end product. If you want to have longevity in your business, you need to have integrity. So you need to create a product that is awesome and then charge the right amount for it, right? So I find that when I raise my prices, I have such commitment from my clients. It's like no one ever misses a session. They're always early compared to when they were paying, they didn't even show up. It was crazy. They didn't even claim their session and they didn't do the homework, right? They weren't committed. And guess what? They didn't get the results. So it's good for you to get paid well, but it also is good if your clients are achieving results. Because why are you doing what you're doing? Not just to make money. You're doing it to make a difference in the world. You're doing it to make a difference for them, right? So what I love about high ticket clients is they don't need convincing. They are self-led. So there's no need for pressure, for bullying, for shaming, for pushing on the pain points. They know what they want, right? So when I decided to hire a business coach, I knew I had a lot of money coming in. I'm like, where am I going to invest this 10 grand? I'm going to get a business coach because I want to exponentially grow my business to fulfill all my dreams. And then I was shopping. I didn't need convincing. I knew because I knew that coaching works. I've been in self-development since I was 16 and my life is freaking awesome. So it can only get better from here. And a lot of people think like, hey, I only need support if I'm failing. I need support because there's something wrong with me. Think about the most high-end athletes. They have coaches. high performers always have support teams, whether it's mindset, energetics, to strategy, they all have a team supporting them. They're not doing it alone. That's a lie. That's a lie that people, that used to be the lie, like I did it all by myself. No, you didn't. You did it with a team of probably 20 people, right? And the thing is, with these kind of clients, they can smell your insecurity. They can smell the over explaining, the over giving, the over discounting, the talking around the offer instead of from it. They can smell if you're not sold on yourself. They can feel it energetically, depending on their attunement, of course. So, this is something to keep in mind. You might be like, oh, no one's buying. It's like, no, no one's buying from you. I'm sorry, truth bomb. You might be thinking, oh, no one's buying out there. No, our whole world is now built on capitalism and people are buying all the time and they're addicted to buying. So why not sell them something that could change their life forever, to change their community forever, their family dynamic forever, their life, their mission, their purpose, their career, instead of shit that's going to numb them, like clothes, makeup, alcohol, porn, um, TV. Like, you can change someone's life. Yeah. So this is your mission. And you have to enroll them. I was totally sold into this really, really expensive mastermind that I paid for. And I messaged this woman being like, thank you for selling me into this because this has changed my life. And if you didn't sell me into it, I wouldn't have bought it. And it wouldn't have changed my life, wouldn't have changed my business, and wouldn't have changed all the other people's lives that this has impacted. High-end clients also value certainty over perfection, right? They sometimes can feel it in the body. The thing is, sometimes everyone can feel this, but they sometimes don't know, and sometimes they are aware. You can jump on the call like this. You're watching the video, you're like, well, she's certain, she's confident. I feel the energetic transmission. Imagine if I was like, oh, so, well, you'll be like, what the fuck? Delete, scroll past this. Ugh, it's making me feel uncomfortable. Have you ever been in the room and someone's like shaking their knee and they're shaking their knee and you're like, oh my God, please just relax. I feel how agitated your whole nervous system is. You want to be that pillar that they sit in front of and their body relaxes. My favorite saying from one of my mentors, you want to be the person when you walk into the room, everyone's asshole relaxes. Yeah. So high-end buyers, they pay for the nervous system they want to borrow. They pay for time. They pay for knowledge, right? So you've done the thing, or you can like shorten the time they're going to get the result. That's what they're doing. They pay for confidence. They pay for embodiment, not the loudest, craziest, shiniest. They don't get sold on that. They have this deep discernment. So I want to talk a little bit about this before we wrap up. And I'm curious what your biggest takeaways are so far. But you might be thinking, like, I need a new website, I need to rebrand, I need to post more. I've made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with the worst social media. I literally just posted about food. I didn't have a website. I constantly used random fonts that was fun to use. And I made a lot of money. And I see clients that I get hyper focused on this website that literally brings them nothing. Because it's not about that. It's about the embodiment. It's about the energetics. It all begins with that. It's all about sales, actually. And being sold on yourself, that then that it's inevitable that they're going to buy. And if they don't buy, someone else will. It's creating a product or a service that is so good that you are proud, that they're going to have the most incredible experience. And then they're going to tell all their friends. And then it's the word of mouth. Yeah. It is this confidence like, oh, yeah, that's just my price. This is where it's at. I know you're going to figure it out. The other thing is high end buyers, they're resourceful. They don't need you to hold their hand and put in the credit card. They're going to figure it out. When they have a desire, when they have a want, they will move mountains. I remember when I was looking for that business coach, I thought I had a lot of money coming in because I was nearly roped into a scam, a pyramid scam. I didn't know. It was so good to be true, too good to be true, but I love the concept. And what happened was I manifested the money because I got my back was at the wall. She was like, okay, I'm like, I'm in. I love this. She's like, all right, we start in 2 days. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to have this money till a month. I don't have this money. And then I was so enrolled in who I could become that I manifested. So I know that when you want something, when you really see what's possible for you, you move mountains. And the thing is, it's not just you, the forces of the universe, God, your higher self come to support you, to giving you exactly what you want. Who's been there? I want to hear some miracle stories in the comments. So I've been here. I've been here where I'm like, there's no one gonna pay this, and there's no one left for me to sell to. Yeah. And then guess what happened when I believed that? Because our beliefs create our reality. That was the evidence. And I could be righteous about it and be like, yeah, see, I told you. But then I decided to tap into my superhuman abilities that I teach you guys in the mystery school. And if you're curious about more, there's some goodness in here. But I'm going to give you a little taster. Our beliefs create our reality, right? So then I was like, well, that's not the reality I want to live into or create. What do I want to create? That I'm going to attract the most soul aligned clients. They're going to come and be like, this is an irresistible offer. It's only this much. Oh my God. But the thing is, you want the price to stretch the person because then they take on a new identity. And I find that half the journey is actually the commitment to self. It's actually the enrollment. And if you do it right, then how they start it is the beginning of the cycle, right? If you do it with invitation, with consent, consciousness, then they're going to show up throughout the package that way, throughout the course, throughout whatever, or they're going to use the product in that way. So before we wrap up, I'd love for you just to contemplate what if? What if you can get the top secrets to attracting and closing high-end buyers so you can have consistent income for 2026 and beyond? What would it look like if you had consistent income in your business? Would it open opportunity for you to invest in better trainings, in a bigger team? Would it just buy you time and freedom, peace, ease? Or would it just help you fulfill on your mission in the world, and actually you'll get to coach or train or create whatever your offering is? You get to do more of that and feel fulfilled and on purpose. Either way, isn't this amazing? So I have created a workshop where I give you actual strategy where to find these high end clients because they're everywhere. So I'm going to tell you exactly where to find them. And then I'm going to tell you why it's not working for you, what you're already doing. Because I know you're doing a lot and you know a lot. So why isn't the cha-ching and the clients, why are they knocking down the door? I'm going to tell you that. So if you want to know more how to get paid, then please join my masterclass, my workshop. It's curated in a way that you're going to be like, whoa, this is incredible. I have to tell all my friends because this is how I provide a service. Because I've invested a lot in many things, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's shit. Sometimes it's just strategy, but it's more. You need more than the strategy. And I'll teach you the strategy, I'll teach you sales. But what you need is also identity and energetics, because this is the thing that blocks you. Actually, we already know. It's like how to lose weight: eat less, exercise more. Why don't people do it? How to create more clients. You probably already know, but you probably don't do it. You probably don't do the one thing that's actually going to move the needle. You do everything else and you're like, I've done everything except that one thing that's actually going to make a difference. So if you're ready to do that one thing, or maybe you're like, I've literally done everything, I don't know, I'll tell you what that one thing is in the masterclass. So I'd love to see you there. Big love. And if you've missed the live, you can buy the replay. It's going to be as good. And you can submit your questions in an email. Bye.